This story is about a couple whose love relationship is filled with doubt and confusion. The boundaries of freedom have been crossed so far that returning is now difficult. On one side is the wife, who is misusing her freedom, and on the other side is the husband, who is trying his best to save his family but ends up trapped in a situation that is hard to escape from. The story begins with a man who is riding his bicycle through a forest on his way home. His name is Jack. As soon as he reaches home, his beautiful wife Rosie sits on the stairs and stares at him. Jack asks her, "Is everything okay?" But Rosie just gives a faint smile and walks silently into her room. Later, Jack and Rosie leave their daughter Trixie with a babysitter and head to a party. While getting ready for the party, Jack helps Rosie wear her shoes. They look like they're deeply in love, but the truth is something else which gradually comes to light. At the party they both look classy. Friends are already enjoying themselves. Everything seems normal until a young guy named John enters the party. Rosie warmly greets him and immediately walks over to him. Jack notices everything but remains silent. Rosie takes John to a corner of the party, and they share a passionate kiss. Jack sees this through the window but walks away silently. He knows all about his wife's affairs but has been silently tolerating everything for a long time. Later, Jack's friend Mary asks him, "You know everything, so why are you still putting up with this relationship?" Jack calmly says, "Rosie can do whatever she wants, I have no problem. If I wanted, I could have ended this relationship and she knows that too. But I love her a lot, and I don't want to break my family. I believe one day she'll understand my love." Jack takes a drink and goes into a private room. After a while, John comes in too and says with a bit of attitude, "Thanks for your hospitality. Most husbands would get jealous in a situation like this, but you're on a different level." Jack calmly replies, "Have you heard of Martin? He was a close friend of Rosie's just like you, always hanging around her. One day I got so angry that I killed him. His body has never been found." John is shocked hearing this, but tries to compose himself and nervously asks, "You're joking, right?" Jack replies in a cryptic tone, "That depends on how you want to take it." A frightened John leaves. Rosie sees him leaving and tries to stop him, but John makes an excuse and leaves the party. After the party, Jack and Rosie are driving home. On the way, Rosie asks, "What did you say to John that he suddenly left?" Jack lies and says, "I didn't say anything like that." The next day, Jack drops his daughter at school and meets a friend who jokingly says, "So now you've started killing people? All our friends are talking about it." Jack laughs and says, "John must have spread that. I was just joking, but he actually got scared." As the day goes on, two more friends come to Jack and ask him the same question. Jack gives them the same answer, that it was just a harmless joke. But when Rosie finds out that Jack scared John by mentioning Martin, she gets furious. She confronts Jack and says, "You shouldn't have done that. First you drove Martin away, now John too." Jack tries to explain, "I was just joking, it wasn't serious." But Rosie refuses to listen and says, "John is coming for dinner tonight, and you will apologize to him." Then it is shown that John comes to Jack and Rosie's house for dinner. Everyone eats together. After dinner, Rosie tells her daughter Trixie, "Tonight your dad will tell you a story." She says this because she wants to spend some private time with John. Jack understands everything but says nothing. He takes Trixie to her room, tells her a story, and puts her to sleep. When Trixie falls asleep, Jack comes downstairs. As he looks in the mirror, he sees Rosie and John spending time together. Jack feels jealous inside and in frustration, goes into the kitchen and deliberately breaks a plate. Hearing the noise, Rosie comes into the kitchen. She casually tells Jack, "Get another drink for John," and walks away. Jack picks up a drink and takes it to John. While taking the drink, John is still disturbed by the murder joke and says to Jack, "Don't you think you should apologize to me for that joke?" This time Jack's tone changes and he says seriously, "It wasn't a joke. I really hit him on the head with a hammer and killed him. No matter how much you apologize now, he's not coming back." Hearing this, John's face turns pale, he gets scared, and immediately leaves the house. But the question is, was Jack telling the truth? Or was this just another new way to scare John? The answer to that comes later. In the next scene, Jack attends another party with his family. There are many friends and people there. At the party, Jack meets a writer named Mark, who is the husband of his best friend Kelly. Mark's job requires him to be out of town often. Jack and Mark start talking and soon move to personal topics. Mark asks Jack about his work. Jack says, "I'm retired now. I do a bit of work, but mostly I spend my time cycling." Rosie overhears this and says something unexpected. She tells everyone that Jack had designed a microchip used in military drones, which helps them hit their targets with great accuracy. Everyone is shocked to hear this. Until now, no one knew that Jack wasn't just a quiet man but also a genius engineer and a successful, wealthy person. But despite all these achievements, there is a lack of peace and happiness in Jack's life. Because unless one has the support of a loving and loyal wife, no one can feel truly rich from within. The party continues and everyone is enjoying. Jack shares a light-hearted moment by dancing with his best friend Kelly. But this dance with Kelly makes Rosie feel jealous, which is quite ironic because Rosie herself has been playing with Jack's trust for a long time. Then the story shifts to a scene a few days later where Trixie is dancing with her school friends under the guidance of teachers. While watching the kids, Jack gets a call from the bank. The bank informs him that Rosie has recently transferred $3,000 to another account. Jack becomes curious and slightly concerned. He asks for more details. The bank informs him that the money was transferred to an account under the name Charlie, a guy who plays live piano. Hearing this, Jack understands everything. He realizes that after John, Rosie now has a new boyfriend named Charlie. Jack now wants to know more about Charlie. One evening, he goes to a restaurant where live piano sessions are held. As soon as he enters, he sees Rosie, lost in the music. Jack understands that the guy playing the piano is Charlie, Rosie's new love. After this, Rosie's behavior starts to change. She begins coming home late at night. Jack can clearly see that her relationship with Charlie has become serious. Jack feels jealous and hurt from within, but he still doesn't say anything. One night, Rosie doesn't come home at all. The next morning, when she returns, Jack loses his patience. He angrily asks, "Where were you all night? You have a 6-year-old daughter, a family. And why did you transfer so much money to Charlie?" Rosie, sensing Jack's jealousy, replies very calmly. She deliberately tells him all the details to hurt him, where she was and with whom. She is fully confident that Jack will never leave her, and she takes advantage of this. In the next scene, a pool party is shown at Jack's friend Miles' house. Rosie invites Charlie too. As soon as Charlie arrives at the party, Rosie clings to him, openly showing affection. She introduces him to everyone. Charlie plays the piano, and with Rosie, all the guests enjoy and dance. Jack is visibly uncomfortable, but he still stays silent. Later, Rosie introduces Charlie to Jack. "This is my new friend." Jack controls his emotions, talks briefly to Charlie, and then leaves. That night, Jack searches for Rosie inside the house. Then he spots Rosie sneaking out of a room. Jack understands what's going on inside. A little later, he sees Rosie and Charlie enjoying in the pool with other guests, but their behavior looks like that of a couple. Jack's inner anger rises again, but still, he says nothing. Suddenly, it starts raining heavily, and all the guests one by one go inside. Jack enters the house last. Everyone is in the kitchen preparing food, having fun. A little later, Rosie goes out to look for Charlie, and then suddenly a terrified scream echoes through the house. Everyone runs outside. Rosie is standing near the pool, and Charlie's lifeless body is floating in the water. In panic, everyone pulls him out and tries to give CPR. But all efforts fail because Charlie is already dead. The police arrive shortly after to investigate the incident. As the officers begin questioning everyone, Rosie, full of anger and emotion, yells and accuses Jack. He did it. Jack killed Charlie. The other guests try to calm Rosie down. They tell the police that Jack and Rosie's relationship isn't good anymore, and she's just saying that out of anger. When the rain started, Jack came inside with everyone else. How could he have done it? Since no evidence or witness is found against Jack, the police take him aside to another room for questioning. After a brief interrogation, when nothing suspicious is found, he is let go. But after this incident, the distance between Jack and Rosie increases even more. Rosie becomes more distant, and the tension escalates. A few days later, Jack is cycling alone. While riding, memories of that night when Charlie died flood his mind. It is then revealed that it was Jack who drowned Charlie in the pool. Out of jealousy and rage, he took this extreme step. The image of what Rosie and Charlie might have been doing that night keeps playing in his mind. Jack has been eliminating Rosie's lovers one by one without ever revealing his dark side. In the next scene, Jack is dropping Trixie off at school. As he leaves the school, his friend Kelly arrives. After a bit of hesitation, she says, "I don't know if I should tell you this or not, but Rosie came to our house a few days ago. She and my husband Mark have hired a private detective to keep an eye on you. After Charlie's death, she started suspecting you." Jack's expression remains calm, but inside he's filled with rage. A little later, Jack invites Mark and Kelly to dinner at his house. During dinner, Jack takes Mark to a separate room where he keeps his snail collection. While talking, Jack, in a calm but slightly threatening tone, says, "Don't let Rosie dominate you. She's putting a detective on me. You were there that night, Mark. Do you think I killed Charlie?" Mark doesn't say anything, but his silence says it all. Jack realizes that Mark is not going to let this go easily. Mark is a writer, and his curiosity about Jack's personal life is not limited to just friendship. He wants to turn this entire drama and tension into a perfect crime story. The story moves forward, and one day Jack finds out that Rosie has a new boyfriend, Tony, who was her college friend. Jack notices that Rosie and Tony are spending a lot of time together and are getting closer. One day, Tony comes to their house to meet Rosie. Jack is also at home and immediately understands the situation. They all sit at the dinner table, but Jack keeps observing Tony and Rosie's behavior closely. After dinner, Tony gets a chance and goes to Rosie's room where they become romantic. As always, Jack is secretly watching everything. But this time, Rosie sees him, creating an awkward and tense moment. The next day, Jack follows Tony in his car. Jack drives up to him and casually says, "Hey, Rosie was trying to contact you. Maybe she has something important to say. Come on, I'll drop you." Without thinking much, Tony gets into Jack's car. But instead of taking him to Rosie, Jack takes him to a deserted place. After reaching a lonely area in the forest, Tony gets out of the car and asks, "What are we doing here?" Without saying anything, Jack picks up a rock and hits Tony hard on the head. Before Tony can understand or react, Jack picks up another large rock and hits him again on the head. Tony loses balance, falls into a pit, and dies instantly. Jack gets into the pit to confirm that Tony is truly dead. After confirmation, Jack ties heavy stones to his body. During this, Jack finds Tony's wallet, which he keeps with him. He drags Tony's body to the river, drowns it in the water, and ensures the body is completely hidden. When he feels no one will ever find it, Jack leaves the place. The next morning, Rosie and Trixie are preparing for a picnic when Jack returns home. Rosie asks, "Do you want to come with us?" Jack fakes excitement and says, "Yeah, where are we going?" Trixie happily says, "Nearby forest side." Jack's heart skips a beat. This is the same forest where he hid Tony's body. In the next scene, Jack, Rosie, and Trixie are at the picnic spot. Rosie, unaware of the turmoil inside Jack, appears happy and starts talking to him. She asks, "Why are you still with me, Jack? One by one everyone is leaving me. Only you are left." Jack remains composed and says in a romantic tone, "I don't know why, but I just want to spend my life with you." They come closer and share a small intimate moment. Suddenly, Trixie shouts, "Dad, come here." Jack immediately goes to her. Trixie points toward the riverbank and says, "That dog isn't moving from there." Jack looks over and is shocked. Tony's body, which he had carefully hidden, is now slightly visible above the water. Anyone passing by could see it. Jack quickly makes an excuse to leave the place. As they begin to leave, Rosie says, "Wait, I left my scarf there." Jack, tense, replies, "Forget it. I'll come back tomorrow and get you an even better gift." That evening, when Jack gets home, he casually asks Rosie, "Did Tony call today?" Rosie calmly replies, "No. There's been no contact from Tony for 2 days. Maybe he left me too, just like the others." Then suddenly, Rosie comes closer and hugs Jack. Softly, she asks, "Will you stay in my room tonight?" Jack agrees, and that night they give in to their emotions and share an intimate night together. The next morning, Jack leaves early. He takes his cycle and returns to the forest spot where Tony's body is hidden. Once there, he uses a stick to push the body deeper into the water, making sure it's completely out of sight and no one could possibly find it. Back at home, Rosie decides to clean Jack's snail room. While organizing the space, her eyes fall on something strange, Tony's wallet. She freezes for a moment. As she picks it up, the truth hits her: Jack killed Tony just like the others. Meanwhile, Jack is still at the river, trying to hide Tony's body, when he hears footsteps behind him. He turns around and sees Mark standing there. Mark looks suspicious and asks, "What are you doing here, Jack?" Jack panics and scrambles for words, but Mark already senses something is wrong. He moves forward and catches sight of Tony's half-submerged body. Without saying a word, Mark immediately runs. He jumps into his car and drives off as fast as he can. Jack realizes Mark is going straight to the police. Without wasting time, Jack grabs his cycle and starts chasing him. Mark races along the winding road trying to escape, but Jack takes a shortcut through the forest, trying to intercept him. Mark has no idea Jack is already ahead of him. Suddenly, Jack bursts out of the woods, and Mark loses control of his car. It veers off a steep slope and crashes into the river below. The impact is deadly. Mark dies instantly. At the same time, Rosie has made up her mind. After finding Tony's wallet and putting everything together, she decides to leave Jack forever. She starts packing her and Trixie's belongings. But Trixie, upset and angry, grabs the packed bags and throws everything into the pool. Rosie, shocked, asks, "Trixie, what are you doing?" Trixie replies, "We're not leaving Dad. He needs us." Hearing this, Rosie realizes that leaving Jack would break the entire family, and in some ways, she too is responsible for this mess. To protect Jack, she takes Tony's wallet and burns it, destroying the last piece of evidence. The story comes full circle. Back to the opening scene where Jack is cycling home through the forest. Rosie sits quietly watching him. As Jack approaches, he notices her lost in thought expression and asks, "What's wrong?" Rosie gives a faint smile but says nothing. This story is a powerful reminder of how fragile the balance is between freedom and responsibility. Hope you enjoyed the story. See you next time with another gripping tale.